33,750 square feet, or 11,250 square feet per floor. When you look at the entire building after you're completed with the construction, you will have a balance of classrooms that don't meet any uses as we currently have. They don't meet the 800 square foot classroom size, and they don't meet the 900 square foot that we need. But we've addressed those already. We've added 10 classrooms to the new building, and we've repurposed 14 classrooms at 800 square feet. But you still have 4 classrooms at 750, 5 at 700, 2 at 500. So essentially you have a bunch of space that you're not sure what to use for. So I've budgeted monies in the proposal that would carry you to construct those classrooms or to modify those classrooms to meet the classroom sizes that you needed for support space or whatever you needed for meeting space. So space is not utilized as classrooms to be repurposed as support spaces, i.e. resource rooms, meeting rooms, etc. And if you notice on the very bottom, I've added a theater in here, and I'm going to show you how I got that. In the renovation of the original gym, we converted that space into 2 science labs and the media room and a library. What I'm proposing is removing those. We can repurpose a lot of the equipment and the furniture within the science labs because I believe that's how we paid for it. And according to Harriman, he said that the structural space seems like it's acceptable. If it's truly acceptable, then what I'm proposing is to remove those classrooms and relocating them, A, to the new building that we're constructing now where we have supplementary labs, but also relocating the media center and the library to the front of the building because we've evacuated space now. The art room is now in the new building, and the classroom that's over there as well in the old building next to the art room is bring that over as well. So the whole strategy is to the rooms that are reassigned into the new building, what do we do with that space? We're going to reallocate that space for a different purpose. This is one of those spaces. We also purchase telescopic theater seating, which is enough to house 250 people if we want, depending on the space that we have. And the company is out of Somersworth, New Hampshire. I believe for a telescopic theater setup such as this, with the arms, the table that flips up from the side, to turn it into a testing environment if we want, or a seminar part if we want, would be great for town meetings or even movie nights for the elderly to come and enjoy. This whole setup was only at $75,000. And it's a good food for thought. Maybe we can use this at the elementary school. So here's my budget for the high school. It's a total cost budget of $19 million and some change. So here's the breakout. It's 33,000 roughly new square footage at $8 million. And then there's the monies I put aside for renovation of those 18 classrooms or so. And roughly works out to be about $60,000 per classroom. An additional line item for life and safety improvements if we need to, because we're converting some of the old space and repurposing it. I have $1 million in there for door and window replacements on the exterior of the building. So that's $60,000 you don't get a hit on. We've already replaced the windows and the doors on the exterior of the building if needed. Then we have $1.3 million to address all of the mechanicals in the existing building and the new. So what that will allow us to do is to address this issue with the oil tank, and also address the issue with the boiler and the air handlers, because remember from the drawings and the evaluations, it was the air handlers that we had the biggest problems with. Our recent problems with the oil and the water mixing is something that can be overcome. Then I have the next line item is cafeteria improvements. And in here what I'm proposing is renovating the complete kitchen as it is today. And there's a wall that separates the kitchen from a storage area. Utilizing that wall, A, to relocate and do the layout with as far as locating fire sensitive equipment, as far as like the friolators and things like that near a concrete wall, or just removing the concrete wall altogether. And that money is in there for the $1 million is to handle the renovation and buy new appliances for that kitchen. And then whatever money is left over, which should be a lot of money, is I'd like to rehab the existing space and include in that existing space, because we will relocate the existing dumpster and the walkout kitchen into that new storage space, and the dumpster would be out back, is to include in this monies like a 3-season room that we can call an upperclassman calf. Those kids have been through a lot, and they deserve to have their own space where they can sit and relax and talk amongst themselves, amongst their peers. Or we could utilize that space as a meeting room. Next line item is I have the buried pipe relocation. That infamous pipe that's buried underneath our parking lots, that according to the DPW Chief Mulaski, he said it can be removed and relocated by gravity feeding. So without looking at any drawings, I've budgeted $500,000. I believe the school already has an existing proposal to relocate that pipe with previous drawings. Then the next line item I have is for FF&E, which is the furniture, final and fit up of equipment, which is inclusive of computer system. What I'm proposing is, because our library isn't as big, and the libraries essentially are being phased out because of the computers. Our kids don't need physical books. The younger kids do. We need to touch the books and understand the Dewey Decimal System. However, most of our information is coming from the internet. So ramping up our computers and giving us the opportunity to provide all students with access to laptops or iPods or our tablets, to give them an opportunity to access these pieces from home or in school or from anywhere. They can log on to our servers and access all of our textbooks and all of the information that's provided on the internet to do their homework, and essentially convert from paper and pencil to a computer environment where everything is sent electronically, and still have that component in the curriculum for the paper and pencil access parts. The next site work includes the parking lot across the street in this number of $2.1 million. Besides the site work on the existing site, I also wanted to carry the money for putting the parking lots across the street, and again, levelizing the fields and turning those into just generic multi-purpose fields. And again, the parking that would be available at the high school would be visitor parking, handicap parking, and then limited facility and faculty. Now, one of the points that I didn't touch on earlier is, where would the access be for the buses? What I'm proposing is to put a horseshoe across the front of the building, coming in where we are now, where the buses enter now, or where they exit. Is clearing it out so there's across the front of the building as it stands on 152. There's a large strip of grass, roughly 50 to 60 feet wide. Is to put a 25-foot swath driveway right down the middle, and have it controlled so that buses could access it during certain times of the day, and without the problems of having cars located there either. Then I have in this number $2 million for soft costs, which is a high number. It represents more than 10% of the overall cost of the budget, which I know is a high number, but again, we've done a lot of the legwork already, and I think that some of this money can be utilized in a different line item to enhance some of the different things that aren't included in my scope. Lastly, I have $500,000, which I know is a high number, but I want to demo the existing class science labs, relocate the media centers, and again, convert the old gym into our new theater. And again, the total budget's $19,131,250. And that brings us to the Newmarket Elementary School. What I'm proposing here is to eliminate on the top left where you see the trailers, eliminating the trailers, and including those into a new wing. Now, whether it's flipped where the trailers are, or we can put it on the open space that's used for phys ed, and when those trailers are eliminated, use that as open field for the facility for the phys ed program. What I'm proposing here is all where the trailers are. And again, like I said just now, whether it's on this side or on the other side of where the open field is on the far right, it doesn't matter. It's up to you. There are some advantages and disadvantages of each. One impacts the phys ed program. The other enhances the fact that we can add classrooms here that would allow us to put the preschool in this side of the building. Right now, we're limiting enrollment into our preschool program because we don't have the adequate space. We can resolve that. This is what I'm proposing. We have 5 classrooms at 900 square feet. We're adding 2 bathrooms at 1,500 square feet. And here we're adding a gymnasium. But one of the thoughts I was thinking about throughout this whole process, instead of adding a gymnasium, we can give the existing phys ed program the cafeteria that's existing now Give them that whole space. Add a new flooring to the system that matches already into the existing gym, and add a few, for minimal cost, do some cosmetic makeups to include it into the gym. Then add in that theater telescopic seating system that we proposed for the high school, and convert that whole area into a large multi-purpose, but primarily a gymnasium. Then relocate the cafeteria and the kitchen into the new wing. Therefore, we'd have a new kitchen where the kids could exit right onto the playground, opposed to having now the system that they have now where they have to walk through the building. But also, you could also have the little kids relocate into that new room as well and create more space on the other side of the room. But that's a programming issue. That's not what I'm addressing. But I'm giving you 12,000 new square feet. Here's how the budget breaks up. Excuse me. You got a 12,000 square foot addition for roughly $2.8 million. And then you have a $2 million budget to fix all of the mechanicals, which essentially is just the boiler, and replace it. And as well as if we have another issue with the oil tank underground. Then I have $1.5 million built in for site work, which I think may be a high number in itself. But again, relocating the building so that it's within proximity of the existing infrastructure as far as the water and sewer go. Then I've added new windows and security around the building. Now, as it stands now, I think the doors and windows for the most part are in good shape. I think the outstanding issue here is security. The security is very minimal at best. And I don't know what's been updated recently, but again, this is a number large enough to handle any items that we have or maybe want to have in the new environment. And then I have in here $1 million for computer infrastructure and hardware. And again, it's the same philosophy at the high school it is here. I know we need a library, but we really should be pushing the kids towards a computer literacy, and it allows us an opportunity to do that here. Teachers, instead of printing up on colored ink all the time, has been complaining to because of the cost, we give them every kid an iPod, an iTouch screen, or a laptop to work from and do their homework from. Now maybe we even allow the kids to take them home, as long as they have Wi-Fi access and the town provides them with that downtown. Maybe they have it within their own home. But again, we can have the teachers set up their software program or the homeworks right on their little tablets so that they can take them home and do them there. That's a great tool to have. So the overall cost of the elementary school is $8.6 million to a total amount of $27,750,250 for the whole scope of the work. Again, this is just a proposal for the first step. Then at some point here, the school department would facilitate a long-range plan as discussed at regular meetings. So you have a solution going forward that doesn't limit you as one large cost all at once.